Hey everybody, it's your girl Jane B from seejanetwirl, and welcome to my channel. If it's your first time being here, thank you so much for stopping by. And if you've been here before, welcome back. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. Now listen, unless you are living under a rock, especially out here in these internet streets, then we all have heard about RessaTessa's video, her 50-part series, Who the F Did I Marry? Okay? So let me just give you our backstory before I jump in with my thoughts, feelings, and opinions. So I was with someone a couple of days ago, and they were like, oh my goodness. Me and my daughter, we were out, and we started listening to this girl's story, and they just got caught up. I had no idea what she was talking about. And so then I was just like, let me hear it or whatever. So she let me hear the first part, the disclaimer. And from the disclaimer, we listened to about two parts, like part 1 and part 2. And I was hooked. And I'm going to tell you, I think the reason why, in my opinion, why Ressa has just blown up and gone viral is because she just has a way of talking and being that you believe her, you want to get invested with her, and she kind of got that cliffhanger-ish way of drawing you in. And next thing you know, you're like, oh, no, I got to stick with the next part. I got to go to the next part. Now, what happened now? What with the family? What's with the car? What's with the house? You know, you just got to get all in to every bit of the story. I know I heard some people, other content creators, just wondering, like, how is it that this Black woman can be vulnerable and not get dragged, but actually get support? And I think one of the things, well, a few of the things that I noticed is that, number one, when you go on her videos, thank God ain't no commercials and TikTok. So we thank God for that. And you just get on and she just starts to tell the story. So there is no like introduction, prelude, it's none of that. She just gets in. Part 1, part 2, part 3, and she just tells the story like you're sitting down with one of your girlfriends just kikiing and talking and listening to a good, tea session. That's what it's like, and I think that is why she just draws people in. I know that's why I was drawn in, because I was like, wait a minute, everywhere I was going, I was like, wait, I had to run errands, I had it on. I had to clean up, I had her on. I mean, she is just very, very, very gifted with storytelling and for the details. I have to tell y'all, I couldn't do it. I don't think I could do it. I don't think I'm that good with details. Maybe I haven't tried. But the way she could just really paint a picture, because she was also really trying to let you know, I'm not lying. Let me tell you, I can give you dates, descriptions, what highway I was on, the sign that was on the left, the cow that was on the right. I mean, she really broke it down. So you really, she's painting a picture and you're really believing her story. So yes, it was a 50-parter, and I made it all the way through. I even listened to her live. Oh, I was invested. I was all the way invested. But let me just tell you guys my feelings about the whole thing. So it is very easy for people who are sitting, watching it, and people who are, not maybe in that circumstance to judge and to think she's so stupid, because I've heard that, and how does she not know, and how does she not realize? And one thing I have to say is that when you are in a space in your life, depending on what part of your life you're in, what age, what emotional state, you will be surprised the things you will tolerate and the things you will put up with because of where you are mentally. And the age range, I don't know how old she is, but I know she did say that Legion was 42. And so I'm assuming she's in that ballpark between like 35 and 40. So, we live in an era where everything is online and everything's a thing. If you get engaged, it's a thing. If you have a baby, gender reveal, it's a thing. Like, everything is a thing. So because everything is a thing, you kind of get swept up and caught up, and you're like, oh, I want that. I want to get proposed to. I want to have my gender reveal. I want to get me with the key after I get my house waving. And you get caught up, and before you know it, you are getting influenced. I have been influenced. Trust me. I have been online looking at stuff and went and bought stuff just because the person that was telling it was believable. I believed them, and I got caught up. I may not get caught up all the time, but it does happen. And so she was in that stage of her life where she said, why not me? I want it to be my turn. And as a result of her wanting it to be her turn, as a result of that, she was way more vulnerable. She was in a vulnerable position. And because this man touched the right senses for her, he came, he rescued her. You know, she was a damsel in distress with that tire, although that was very dangerous, child. I was like, oh, a tire blowing, Lord. You know, her tire was blown. He came, fixed the tire, and then took her to get a new one. Any woman would get caught up with that. You know what I'm saying? Now, were there red flags that she had ignored? Of course. But she ignored them because that's where she was in her life. She's just like, you know, I see it. I see the white picket fence. I see the dog. I see the 2 kids. I see the car in the driveway. She saw all that. So she was willing to ignore everything she saw because that's what she wanted at the end. Because, you know, first of all, I'm going to say this too. If you have never dealt with a narcissist, a grandiose narcissist, that's what he was, then you really cannot understand. Let me give you a little story, quick little story time. I used to think that a narcissist was just somebody who thought they was cute. I know, that's all I thought. I said, oh, like somebody conceited. I was like, oh, they're conceited. They this is what it is. Oh, they think it's all about them. Until I was able to actually experience what a narcissist is and what a narcissist does. And when I heard her story, right, and then I thought about my own story, and I said, oh, okay, that sounds a little familiar, that love bombing, because that's what they do. They love bomb you. They, you know, when you first meet them, they taking you on trips, and they taking you on dinners, and they're buying you things, and that's to suck you in, because the thing is, once you get sucked in by a narcissist and once you fall in love with them, because that is the key for you to fall in love with them. Once you fall in love with them, then they flip the switch on you. So I've been doing my own research about narcissists and what they do and how they operate. And there are 3 components to narcissism. There is the love bombing phase, the devaluing phase, and then the discarding phase. Those are the 3 phases. So if you notice when she said, you know, things started to change, all of a sudden he's like jealous of the people at her job and the men. Now, he wasn't doing that all before when he was getting her drawn in, taking her to houses. Now, listen, ain't no house was bought, ain't no car was bought, but just the idea that he was taking her out, taking her to, you know, see cars, taking her to see houses, that gets you ramped up. That gets you open, even if it doesn't come to fruition and you're let down, but you still remember, remember when he took me to Cheesecake Factory, and remember that he paid all the bills, and remember when he changed my car. See, all of that stuff, that all comes rushing back, and then you're like, you know, I know he low-key lying, but you know, I do remember the good times, and that's what keeps you drawn in. Now, let me tell you something about Legion. Legion is a professional liar. He is one of those liars that can think fast. See, one thing about me, you know when I'm lying. You be like, Jan, you lying. Because I cannot come up with lies that fast. It always amazes me with people who are quick on their feet with excuses and quick on their feet with lies. It's incredible to me, because when she was telling her story, and as she was coming up with these ways that he got at her stuff, even though you know it's ridiculous and you know he's lying, but just the fact that he could do that. I mean, just the fact that he could come up with a lie that quick, that's pretty impressive. That is pretty impressive. And you know that this is something that has been cultivated. You know, I guess there's a liar school somewhere where they teaching how to lie, because those lies are just cultivated. I mean, to the point, spoiler alert if you haven't watched it all, but just to the point where he could be on the phone, faking conversations. Like, that has to be mental. That's a mental situation. You're on the phone faking that you're talking to somebody who's not on the other end. You could be in a car dealership putting down money and calling to get VIN numbers and all the other numbers and the tax license and title and all this other stuff. Really? That's incredible to me. But that was Legion. But that is what he was able to do. So, we could sit back and be Monday morning quarterbacks and think, oh, no, I would never do that. She's dumb. She's stupid. We don't know that. Because we all, especially for the ladies out there, we've all been in some situation where we look back and like, I was a pure idiot in that situation. We've all done that. We've all been in a situation where we look back and we know where we are now in our lives. We would never do that. We've been, caught up. You just get caught up, and your fantasy sometimes overtakes reality. Your fantasy and what you want, I've done it. Oh, I've done it. Oh, yes, I've done that. And your fantasy overcomes. But what I really like about this young lady is that she takes accountability. She takes accountability for her actions, for her naivete, for her desperation. She takes accountability. I think the one thing that can help you as you're on your recovery journey and as you're on your journey, I guess, to counseling and, therapy and things like that, is to own your stuff. I think the minute you own your stuff, you halfway through the therapy session. Because I think the therapy session, most of the therapy sessions is just trying to get you to admit that it was partly your fault. But if you could just admit that it was you played a part, because remember, none of this could have happened if she did not allow it to come. The fact that 2 weeks after they met, they was quarantining, I just cannot even understand that. So, but just the fact that happened, honey, the door was wide open. The door was open, and he was like, come on in with all his shenanigans. But she played that role. She opened the door. She let him in. She did all these things, but she owned it. And I really, really appreciate that. I really appreciate when people are honest about their part, because it's just incredible to me how so many people just cannot admit their part. That's really insane to me. Like, you played a part, but you blaming everybody else all the time. It ain't never your fault. You ain't never did nothing. You were just sitting there with angel halo and wings and stuff just happened. No. You played a part too, and she admitted that. And I really do appreciate the fact that she admitted that. Now, I do want to also talk about the fact that when a person, or especially when a woman's fed up, there's nothing you could do about it, okay? When a woman is fed up, there is nothing you can do about it. I didn't say that those are R. Kelly words, but, it is what it is. And when she was done with him, and she said she turned into the FBI, the CIA, Homeland Security, and every other security, and she started digging, and she found the wife, she found the ex-wife, she found out that he never went to school, he never even been to California. She went through that thing. She left no stone unturned. And when she finally woke up out of her stupor, child, that's when it was all over, and she hit the fan. Everything hit the fan, and the next thing you know, he was out. And if you didn't watch it, watch it. It's a watch. It's a Lifetime movie. It is a Netflix special. It's amazing. And the fact that she was able to confirm everything with family members and just the things that were uncovered, all the lies that were uncovered, and the fact that was able to be done was incredible, because I'm telling you, as the old school say, everybody gets tired. So you may think you're running over people and they just so nice and they so sweet. One day they're going to get tired. So if you don't stop yourself, you will be stopped, because he was stopped. After all the lies and everything were uncovered, he was exposed. So thank God for that. Let's go back for a second. I'm sorry, I don't know who may get triggered by this, but I'm so glad she lost that baby, because I could not imagine her having a child with this man, and the rest of her life she's dealing with lies and inconsistencies and promises, and I know she was sad. I was sad for her for that, but I was like, oh, thank you, God. And I was like, in spite of all the craziness that was going on, in spite of all the lies that were happening, the fact that it seemed like the universe was just still working it out for her good, because God knows she's already going through stuff now. She's already emotional now. She's already, dealing with all the feelings of shame now. Could you imagine adding a baby on top of that? And we thank God, because I'm like, whoo, I said, that wouldn't have been no good, girl. That wouldn't have been no good. So I'm glad that part, was ended. now looking forward to everything, I looked at her live and I saw that she was talking just about how she doesn't trust now and she feels the way now. And I'm going to tell you something, when I had my situation, when I met a narcissist, you think, oh, and mind you, my situation was about 3 seconds because once I figured out what was going on, I was out, okay? But I'm going to tell you, not everybody's where I was. Not everybody is at a point where they could be like, oh, no, I know what I deserve. I know what I'm supposed to have, so I'm out. Not everyone does that. And some people will stay in these situations for years. Some people 30 years, 40 years. Do you know the toll it takes on you mentally? Do you know the toll it takes on you spiritually, psychologically, when someone has been gaslighting you and someone's been lying to you and someone has you thinking that you're the crazy one, meanwhile they're setting you up and then acting like, oh, it's no big deal, but meanwhile they have you, in the dark with the lights flicking off and on because you're so sad and depressed. Do you know what that does to you? So when she says that she is not ready to date, she don't trust people, when she's saying that, you know what, I give that young lady grace because it may take a while. She's going to need therapy. She's going to need to first deal with her own stuff, and then she's going to have to deal with what really happened to her before she can go on. Because it's so easy to say, well, you kicked him out, girl. It's ready to date now. Pop the hot girl summer and all this other nonsense. No. Sometimes it may take years to get over that. And she was only in it about 1.5 years total. I think she said she met him in March, and then the following June, on his birthday, she kicked him out. So she has to first forgive herself, and then she has to forgive that situation. But you know what? I give her grace because it takes time to get over things. We always just want to be these Monday morning quarterbacks with all the solutions. No. Let people have their moment. I'm just so glad that she used the internet to talk about her issues, to get it out, because I'm sure that was therapy, because she was holding stuff in. Because remember, she talks about how, in the Black community, we don't let nothing out, child. We got to keep stuff in the family. That's why we halfway crazy. It's because we keeping everything in, and sometimes you need to talk, you need to share. And hopefully she will help somebody. I do think she'll help somebody. She helped me, because it's just, it's just another reminder of, as soon as you see something crazy, you be like, oh, I'm sorry. Oh, it's been nice. God bless you. Be well and be out, okay? Because it's only going to get worse and worse and worse. And especially when you see the red flags. Because I'm going to tell you, like Dr. Maya Angelou said, and I always knew this quote. I always have known this quote, but I never really truly took it to heart. But she says, when a person shows you who they are, believe it the first time. Not the second time, not the third time, not the 10th time. But when they show you who they are, believe it. And see, now where I am now in my life, I take that to heart, because now I go with that. I lead with that. Right? But I didn't always do that. I would give, oh no, you was going to get 10 more chances. And then finally, after the 10th chance, I said, oh, okay, so maybe this is really who they are. And in her case, it's like if she would have known that and believed that and was in an emotionally mature place to receive that, as soon as them 2 different names on the 2 different websites came up, she would have knew from then. No, God bless you, be well. And so that's the thing. Until we are strong enough to believe what we see and believe what we see is real and move away if we need to, then we will have to continue to learn these lessons. We're going to have to kind of have these pitfalls and roll in the mud a little bit, get washed off, and then, get it together. So that's what I took. I mean, there's so many other thoughts that I have, but those are the thoughts that are coming to my mind now about that whole series. It was powerful. I pray and trust that it helped somebody, that somebody could see that and somebody could just wake up to whatever the situation is and maybe get help for themselves first. Because I truly believe, this is fact, until you love yourself, in the words of RuPaul, until you love yourself, how in the hell you gonna love somebody else? That is the truth. He ain't never said nothing truer. He ain't never said nothing more true than that. If you don't love yourself, how in the hell are you going to love somebody? You can't love nobody unless you love yourself, because ain't nobody can love you enough for you to love yourself. How about that? Okay? So anyway, those are my thoughts about the whole Who the F Did I Marry part 1 through 50. If you haven't checked it out, go on TikTok. And that's another thing, child. I had to go back on. I didn't have TikTok on my phone. I had to go put it back on my phone because I needed to watch the series. But now people have uploaded to YouTube, so you don't have to go to TikTok if you don't have TikTok. But anyway, that is it. Those are my thoughts, feelings, and opinions. If you have a thought, feeling, or opinion, or you agree, disagree with anything I had to say, drop it down in the comments. I would love to hear your thoughts and hear how you felt about the series if you got a chance to watch it, okay? All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. Definitely hit the like, hit the subscribe, hit the notification so we could be in touch, okay? All right, until the next time.